Hello, I'm Frost and welcome to my Planetfall in-depth series. This is episode 3 of the Syndicate series, and we're covering the strategies and tactics of the Syndicate using the Promethean secret tech. Alright, so quick recap from episode 2 and then we can get on with everything else. So we're at turn 62 and what we've achieved so far is we've discovered we're kind of separated from everybody else by lots of shoreline. I've been working on trying to build up the size of my colonies whilst using as much covert ops as I can to, let's say, siphon energy and get research taps and all that kind of good stuff from my enemies. Stolen maps so I can see what's happening with the Amazon. I've been trying to maintain good relations whilst I've been doing all these kind of covert things, and that's been going on fairly well. I've had good standings with the Growth faction, but things went south with the Paragon, but I dealt with that. And where we ended up at the end of turn 62 was that I was having some issues with taking over one of their colonies, or one of their dwellings. It won't let me annex it as a colony for some reason, so we're going to have to look into that. And I'm going to start all that again. Alright, so probably a good idea to start with a very quick recap of what we've done with episodes 1 and 2. We're at turn 62 now, and I'm doing okay. We're making good progress. We're at the point of the game now where I've kind of got to decide where I go in terms of the best route to take for the victory conditions. And where it's been looking promising is for me to basically try and take over 63 sectors. I think that's going to be the way to go. And that's going to involve obviously some kind of war, and I've got to decide who I'm going to go to war with. It was looking like I was going to be going to war with the Amazons, who are down in southeast of me. They're the kind of the cyan, light bluish, greenish colour. And then the House of Tar-Imon, if we go to the, there we go, the diplomacy, House of Timur, Taron of House Timur. We had good standings, and then suddenly the non-aggression pact was broken by Taron. So that he makes him fair game now, and he is south of me on the same continent. Whilst the Kirka, who have declared war on me, and the Dvar are actually on separate continents. So I'm really not concerned about that at this stage, and I'm letting the other factions war between themselves. I've had some issues with marauders because I hadn't actually built up defences correctly on my colonies. I hadn't done the standard and advanced military infrastructures, and so some of the spawners were able to take my colonies, and I had to waste time taking them back, which has been an issue. And as you can see, I've got some unhappiness factors because of that in my colonies. So I'm going to have to go and sort that out, and I can't do it with people. Because I just don't have the personnel available, so I'm going to have to train up. At the moment, you see I'm training aquatic development, so that's going to have to change straight away. And I'll take fertile plains because I think I've got quite a few areas that I can use that in, because I need colonist care so I can get the virtual entertainment plaza to then just boost up the morale without using personnel. So that's going to take a few turns. So in fact, let me do that right now. That's going to have to take priority. There we go. And then we've got to decide where we go to from here. So you can see I've got an energy siphon ready, but everyone has been shoring up their defences. So if I actually click on energy siphon, you can see that, I mean, obviously Taron has got very good defence, operational defence, so I've only got a 30% chance against him, and that's the person I really would have liked to have gone for, because he may be my next target. Or I've got Mahina, or I've got S96. Now I'm probably going to do Mahina. But Mahina is looking very, very weak, so I really don't know how much I'm going to gain from that and whether there's going to be any benefit to it. And S96, I actually don't know how much territory she has, so it doesn't really give me a good indication of whether this is actually going to be worth it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold back on my siphon for the time being. I've got it there, it's primed, so I can use it at any time. And I'm just going to really focus on getting up my doctrines and getting up my operational levels and all that kind of stuff. And then I'm going to use steel maps for definite. I'm going to try and use that so I can find out at least what's happening with some of the other factions. And then, but I'm not going to do anything else. I'm going to try and build up my influence and stockpile it a little bit. And literally just make sure that I've got everything primed that I can prime. So I'm kind of ready for combat. And in the meantime, obviously I'm going to finish off this this quest here, and then I'm going to use this teleport here, and that takes me straight down into Amazon territory. And I'm probably going to make an advance into Amazon territory. I have, if I go to military, you can see I've got a unit up, some armies up here I need to bring down south, and I'm still producing a couple more units here, which I'm also going to bring south. Now I've got the opportunity to take Rebirth Reef, which would be ideal because I can annex a new sector for Zelnadar, and it has an energy bonus as well, and energy is kind of really important for me at the moment. So I've got an army here that's 951 versus theirs of 809, so I'm going to wait a turn because this army was used in battle, and you can see that first unit there could do with some rest in order to recharge, so I can just boost up my chances of winning this battle a bit better. So I'm going to hold off on that for now and just do that on the next turn. And then if I can't sort out this colony on the next turn, the problem that I had, as you can see, if I go and modify sector, it doesn't let me annex the dwelling, even though I'm in a position to do so. It's neighbouring to Jalar, and Jalar is ready to annex the sector, and it's saying annex the dwelling to your colony. It's saying I can do it, so there's no restrictions. Don't know what's going on there. So what I will do is, in fact I could do that now, I will just annex Deputy Coast, because then at least I can annex the particle scaling sector when I expand the colony, so I can get that bonus to research. All right, so that's where I'm at. So I'm going to deal with this this area down here, and then move this army down, and then start attacking the Amazons, and we'll see where we go from there. All right, catch up soon. Turn 66, I've moved things along. As you can see, I am now sort of starting to get all my armies together now. Let's just pop him in there, there we go. So I've got 4 armies kind of pretty much at full strength. I've been making sure that I've been putting mods and stuff on my heroes as I've been going along to try and boost them up a little bit. We're ready to jump through this teleport now, which will take us all the way down here to the right, to the very south, to this area here, so that I can try and take the Amazon colony of Cancerville. What is of note though is that there's currently Movindrel. It looks like the Kirko have been moving south and been trying to take these colonies. So I don't know whether they've been taken or not, and I can't deploy a monitor there because I haven't actually been to that territory. So I'm just going to YOLO it, and I'm just going to put my troops straight through the teleport and see what I'm up against. In the meantime, I've managed to do a research tap against the Kirko, which gave me a bonus on my researches. Let me go back a little bit up here. There we go. So I was able to, if I go into my society research, I was able to get my fertile plains exploitation almost immediately, and I'm now only 2 turns away from my colonist care, so I can try and boost up the issues that I've been having with my happiness of my colonies. So that's good news on that front. I've started another research tap, I believe. Yep, on the Kirko again. So that's going to end up in 3 turns. What I've also done is I've kicked out my noble diplomats doctrine, as I'm basically everyone's going to war with me again. It's not like I've been aggressing anybody, but they just don't like me. It just seems to be my fate in Planetfall that everybody wants to declare war on me. So I am waiting just to get enough energy. I'm a little bit low on energy still, but so I can get Cloak and Dagger. All right, so that's going to give me extra bonuses for my covert ops, so I can then sort of build up my operational defenses a little bit more on operational offense, so I can be more effective, because everyone is currently pushing up their defense. We're getting at that point because they're all going to war with each other. It's basically pushed up their operational defense, and so therefore I've got to do the same and make sure that I can get my offensives to be above everybody else's, which is kind of the aim with the Syndicate. I have plenty of influence, that's fine. And then on my strategic operations, at the moment I'm just trying to sort of prime as many as I can, but I have to be aware that as well that I'm sort of keeping an eye on my energy here. But I've managed to take over Rebirth Reef. If you remember that there was going to be a conflict there, and we had a battle, I won, so that was great. So I've managed to acquire that. You can see that Jizadar is now ready to annex another sector, And if I go to my economy tab, I'm going to get some cosmite, which is great. So we're going to annex that for the next turn. And then over on this side, I'm still having problems with marauders, this time offshore. These little blighters right here went and attacked my my sector base and took it from me, even though I've been kind of building my improved military infrastructure. It's just not happening fast enough. So I'm going to get that in another turn, and then I'm going to get the defense turrets on there as well, so I can try and get rid of this sort of marauder problem. And then I've got a Shrike being built so that I can go back there and retake the sector, and hopefully then go and move on to the particle sector. So we're pretty much there now. I feel confident going to war, even though I don't have that much energy, just because I have so many units. I think I've got a good number of units here. And so we're going to start taking them through. So we're going to go through and we're going to teleport. Yeah, we're going to trespass. That's absolutely fine. I could have used a Casus Belli, but we're not even going to bother. I'm going to literally just see, can I get an extra move? No. So I am stuck there. So it's going to take a little while for me to get all these guys through. Because before, when I've done it, I've been able to move straight after, but it's not letting me do it now. Yep, not enough move points. So we're going to have to get through everybody one turn at a time. It is probably because it's not my teleport. I don't have access to it, and so therefore that's blocking me. So I've trespassed, which is going to affect my standings, but you know what? My standings, as you can see, are pretty dire anyway. Zana's already gone to war with me. Toku's gone to war with me, even though I've never even seen them. And it looks like S96 is going to declare war soon as well. And I'm just trying to keep Terran sweet at the moment, because Terran is right below me on the map here. So you can see on the military map, I'm up here, and Terran is right down here on the same continent as me. So I want to take these Amazon colonies, build up my numbers, and then go across, and we'll deal with, is it Terran? Terran, yes, Terran later. All right, so that's the state at the moment. I need to get all these people through the teleport, and we can then take it from there. Turn 67, for some reason this time I was able to get everything through the teleport in one go, so I'm not quite sure what happened there. If you do know, then please put it in the comments. And I discovered that our Amazonian friend here, what is her name again? Mahina has done some bad moves here, because her hero is like right here on her own with an army of just 6. Her military infrastructure is 800, so we're looking about 2,100 power plus this one unit, so 2,200. And she's kind of cut off, so her capital is here in Mobindrel. And the owner right now is Toku. I believe that was her capital. I thought it was. So either way, I may be able to sort of take this over very, very quickly. So I'm going to be moving all my units into position. I've literally just got to finish this turn. Just move them all up so I can just do an all-out attack. And obviously I won't need to even do manual combat on this. This is going to be a straightforward attack. I will make sure that I maybe do an incineration strike or something like that, just to drop down her abilities even more, so that I can reduce my losses as much as possible. So that's looking fine. Energy siphon. I'm looking at my situation here. I've only got like 50% chance, so I'm kind of holding back still at the moment. I'm not too worried about that. What I will do is deploy another monitor. So I'm going to prime that now, and I'm going to launch that now. And I'm going to launch it up here just so I can see what's going on right there. So let's have a look. Yes, so what we've got is we have Kirko units, and there's a much more sizable force there. So it looks like I may be going head to head with the Kirko over the Amazon territory, which is not ideal. It's not what I wanted. But the other thing that I spotted is the Kirko. You know, they've got to watch out for these guys, because all the way up here in Jizadar, I've got this little unit here wandering around. It's only a force of 715. And fortunately, I've been building up my infrastructure because of the issues with the spawners and the marauders and stuff. And so my colony militia power is already at 990, and on top of that, I'm going to have these defense towers in place soon as well. And then this one's currently in the progress of being built up. So I think he's going to make a run for Vostovirov, and try and take that from me and create some issues. And I'm not in a position to build enough units fast enough at the moment. So we will have to see how that plays out. I've got a feeling that he may try and get to that colony and create some aggro for me. But in the meantime, we're going to go ahead, I think, and just end this turn and move forwards. I haven't had any more progress on my research, although what I can do is I can now prime my cloak and dagger. So we're going to start priming that, and that's going to take a turn, and that takes us to the next turn when we should have some action. All right? So we've moved forward one turn, and as you can see, as I was expected, this Kirko unit is going for Vostovirov. So the thing is, my colony militia power is only at 500, and he's at 715. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to launch a plasmoid, okay, and I'm going to pop him right onto my colony there. All right, so that's going to boost up a little bit my my power of mine. It's going to go up to 600. And then I'm also, at this point, I was going to use it against the Amazons, but I'm going to use it right now, and I'm going to launch this against this army to try and reduce their effectiveness. There you go. So it's down to 572 now. I'm at 600. We've evened up the odds, and I'm not going to attack straight away with the Amazons for two reasons. One is I would use up all my tactical operations, and I may need them to defend Vostovirov. So I don't want to do that. And on top of that, I still need to fabricate enough casus belli to actually go to war. As you can see, that's being fabricated right now. Because if we look at my standings, I will get like minus 200 if I go to war with just a minor casus belli. And then that would trigger S96 against me as well. And so I don't want to necessarily trigger another war. So I'm going to wait another turn. Let me go back into that just very quickly. So you can see with Mahina, I've only got a minor casus belli at the moment. So I'm going to try and add another one, fabricate another one, and then I get a justifiable war, and then we don't have an issue. My colonist care has finally come through. So where we're going to go with that is, I think obviously we're going to go to operational effectiveness as my next one, just so I can get more doctrines, more strategic operations, all that kind of good stuff. So I'm going to research that straight away. And then what we're also looking at the moment, I've got a thing I've got to do for 2 turns for the growth faction. I've got to build something for them, so that's a bit of a pain. But it means at least with, let's say, Destin and Eth, I can now add the virtual entertainment plaza, and I can do the same with Zelnadar. The Zelnazar I should be able to put a note. You see, I haven't got enough slots there, so we're going to do the virtual entertainment plaza there as well, and just try and get our colonies back on form. So I think that's about it. I'm going to be able to get this Shrike in a minute, so I'll be able to take that sector back. And as you can see, if we go all the way down here, there we go. So you can see my armies are in place. They're ready to attack. So I'm going to wait till the next turn, do the casus belli, and then we can hopefully attack that colony. All right. Turn 69, and the outcome was that was the right move to make with regards to that little Kirko unit. I managed to get one of my runners there as well, and with that incineration strike as well, it meant that that unit has backed off, and now the turn has ended and my military infrastructure has been improved, so it's now gone up to 760. I've now got the turrets being built there, so that's looking much better defended now. Within 1 turn, this will have its defense turrets as well. So I've kind of managed to back off that attack, so that's excellent news. So it doesn't put me in a position where I've got to take troops back in order to be able to protect my colonies. So that's great. I also successfully completed a research tap against the Kirko, so I got another 161, so that's great. So that's moved my research forward again. and the Kyoko have lost their research as well as a consequence. I've fabricated my casus belli, so I've already got one against her, so that means that I can't increase it. But what I can do is I can try and do it against Taran, because Taran's going to be my next target. Now I've only got a 55% chance here. I have enacted my cloak and dagger doctrine, but what I may do is I can actually wait a little while, because I'm going to do an internal purge, and that's going to take a turn to take place, and that will push up my operational strength and defense, because my alert level will go up. So I'm going to do that on the next turn, I think, and I have enough to, you see, I need to make sure I got to keep this energy for my tactical operations, because I am going to attack this colony, and I think I will do it on the next turn. So I've got at least 150 or so. You can see my unit upkeeps are still quite high, so this is because I got so many armies out. I'm aware of that, and hopefully this will, either I'll take the colony and get the benefits of that colony, or I will lose some units and that will bring my upkeep down. Either way, I'm expanding nicely up here. You know, I'm slowly taking over more and more sectors. I'm making sure that I'm doing my food growth as well as my energy, which is why my energy is not growing as much as it could, so that I can keep expanding. Obviously, the more food production I have, the faster my colonies expand, the more sectors I can annex. And as you can see, there are quite a few around here that I can annex. In fact, I need to go and take that landmark, as I have enough to do that with. Let's go right there and do that right now. Let's spend those influence points, and there we go. We'll acquire that location. And we get some food as well, which is handy, so we'll take that. And we have a rig as well that we can use as a mod on one of our heroes. So all good stuff. And can I get back? No, not quite. I'm going to still make my way back there. There we go. All right, so literally something happening every turn at the moment. Hopefully the next turn is when I'm going to attack the Amazons. You know, sometimes you don't want to rush it. You want to make sure that you're set up in the correct way to be able to do this. So catch up with you on the next turn. Turn 70. Right, it's time. I have enough. I have 100 energy, which should be enough. I have an overwhelming force here, so I think it's definitely time for me to be able to just go in now and attack this colony. We should be able to just do it with auto combat as well. I don't think we're going to need manual combat on this one. I think we have way more than enough to do the job. I have multiple heroes in some of my armies as well. Yeah, we're going to declare war. We're going to declare war with minus casus belli, so there we go. Oh, that's going to take 10 turns. No, screw it. You know what? I already have such bad standings with everybody. It doesn't really matter. So we're just going to go with that one. Thank you very much. There we go. Safe battle, auto combat, and that should be resolved fairly quickly. And I would doubt I would even lose many units. I think I may lose 1 or 2 at the most. Yeah, so I've lost 1, 2, 3. Oh, actually, I lost a few more than I expected, actually. But you know what? I'm going to still take that. That's fine. Just for expediency's sake, that's fine by me. So what we're going to do now is we are going to move all of that to our arsenal. That's good. Yeah, we'll have that. And then I should be able to decide what to do with the colony. Oh, it's just become ours. Oh, because she didn't have her capital, she's lost. That's it. So that's going to automatically become ours. All right, that's the good news. So that's that done. And my forces are still fairly strong. I may need to move some units around now, shuffle some things around so that we get... yeah, so I haven't got enough move points at the moment. So on the next turn, I will consolidate all of those. I don't think I've got enough to take on the Kyoko. Well, this would be a close call, so I may just go for that. That may be worth it, just so I can get that extra colony. But otherwise, I need to just make sure that everything is safe up here. So I'm still building, you know, things like military infrastructures and just trying to build up my energy. Right, so that's it, straightforward. I've got some heroes to upgrade, so that's fine. We'll get the escape module straight away. As soon as I see that, I go for that. You know, just try and keep my heroes alive as much as possible. Only leaves me 3 skill points, and You know what? I'm gonna bother with Watchman. Counter-attack is always good. So there we go. So set. I'm not going to be using melee that much. Decisions. What's the plasma surge? No, that doesn't really help me because that's this guy's all set up for psionics. You know what? I'm just going to put Watchman on there, and that will be fine. Okay, so that's job done. Oh, the Paragon have gone to war with me again because I refused to do one of their quests, and I have all these heroes leveling up. So this one's all thermal. We will go for vitality. Actually, that's always a good option. There we go. That's a pretty good weapon. I don't think I can improve on that. Yeah, we're going to keep that thermal weapon, I think, so that's fine. And yeah, so Mahina was defeated. And yeah, all right. So we basically got some colonies to take here. So it's going to be a free-for-all as to whether we can get these colonies and get them over to our side. So I may try and use some runners to try and get up to these colonies that were previously, although there are not many, that were previously Amazon, and see if I can grab those. All right. Okay, catch up with you soon. Turn 73. And what I've done is I've amalgamated all my units after taking over Cancer Will. I've amalgamated all these units. I put them all together into basically 3 armies of 6 rather than 4 armies with less in each. What I've also done is I've been going into my individual units and I've been modding them and adding as many mods as I can afford. This way, I'm making these 3 armies stronger rather than trying to build new units and bring them down, which is going to take time. This is a much, much faster way of doing it, so that I can eventually, hopefully, take on this colony in Movendrel and take on the Kirko there. Now, unfortunately, with the War of the Paragon, what they did is over up here, if you remember, there was this colony that I just couldn't annex that was mine. Well, they had an army that spawned of like 4 units or whatever, and it went and retook the dwelling of Tira Capital. And then they spawned an army of 1,800 power right next to my other colonies. And so I'm in no position to fight that up here in my home territories. So I had to sort of declare peace, and it cost me like 259 energy, which I really didn't want to spend. And I had to give back Honeysuckle Haven for some reason. And now I've got Paragon here as well with an army of 860. So not ideal at all. I'm not happy about it, but it was the only situation that the only choice that I really had that made sense. So at some point I'm going to have to come back and just clear all this out, which is not ideal. It's going to extend the amount of time it's going to take me to take all this territory. So I'm kind of a bit of a pickle right now because I've got this army sitting right here and they're at war with me. So if I just leave Cancer Will behind, they will just come in and take it over, and then the Kirko will get stronger. And so I have to try and decimate these armies, and obviously they're implanted as well. So I've got my strategic operations. I've got things like industrial sabotage, which isn't that key right now because I doubt this is being used very much for production. So I need to build up my energy so that I can use some of my things like Incineration Strike, which does like proper damage, and try and sort of wear down this colony before I attack it, whilst hoping in the meantime that I'm not going to get too many issues elsewhere. So up here, my society skills, I've got my operation effectiveness up to 4 now, which is good. I'm going to focus on energy development because energy is just my biggest issue. I've got energy siphons going off left, right and centre. I just completed an energy siphon, which is what allowed me to pay the Paragon. And you can see that I have another one here on Zana, which is going to take effect in 3 turns. And I am probably going to deploy another one. It's worth trying on S96. I've only got a 65% chance, but you know what? We're going to go for it. Okay, not detected. Good. The odds are working in my favour at the moment. So, the amount of energy siphons I've done is ridiculous. So, and they've all been effective up until now. So let's hope it stays that way. Now we've got this colony up here in Nissildar, which is an independent now, and so I may actually just try and go across this little island go across the water here and see if I could take that, because that's going to be a lot easier for me to take than to take on the Kyoko. And they may just actually just back down. So we will, in fact, that seems like a very good move. So if I can start moving units over here. In fact, I should have just put them straight into the water. That was a bad move on my part. What I should have done is just go straight into the water now. So I will do that at least with these 2 units. There we go. So the next turn they will be able to move. I should have done that on that turn, but unfortunately I can't take that back. So, but I've also got another doctrine being enacted. And what this is going to do is going to drop down the cost of my Promethean units. And I have a few now, which are the fire starter kind of units, these guys. The indentured purifiers, which are both indentured and purifiers. So that brings down my cost substantially, which will help on my, my energy. All right, so that's where I'm at, and time to move forwards. Turn 76, and we have some developments which may turn out in our favour. So what I said is just recently was that I was going to go across to Nisseldar and try and take over that independent colony. And I did that, and I went across there, and I was able to take over the colony with influence. I didn't have to fight them. It just took 50 influence, so that was fine. So I acquired that colony without losing any units. And I also completed a Paragon quest that was up there as well, because I figured, you know what, I've got really good standings with the growth. I might as well do some stuff for the Paragon to try and keep them on board so they stop going to war with me, because otherwise that just creates havoc up the top there. But what happened as a consequence is the Kyoko got greedy and they left Movindrel and they came and took Cancerwil. But I already had a military infrastructure there, so you can see that their units have been decimated. You know, they've lost some units, and on top of that, they've split their units. So now they've only left 4 units in Movindrel, which has a good, pretty good army power. But that means that I could potentially just go right round in a circle, or go that way, for you guys, the king. So I can come round and hopefully take Movindrel, and then sit tight and see whether they go to Nisseldar or stay in Cancerwil, and then go back in and attack those. But in the meantime, Taron has had enough and has declared war on me. And he's got some units here, but his armies are not very strong. You know, you can see army power there of 800, one of 700, and one of 400. So his army power is not that great, not like the Kyoko, which always like build up really strong armies. So I am not too concerned about that at the moment. In fact, if he comes across and starts taking Nisseldar, that's fine, because both of these armies, or both of these opponents, are just weakening themselves all the time. Whilst I've got my energy siphons going, I've just completed one. I still believe I have another one going. Yep, I still have one to come in 2 turns time from S96. So I'm doing fine, you know, and you know, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to spend my cash building heavy units and, you know, high quality units, and just move them south down here into Novaneth, into this area, because if Taron attacks, he's going to come up from the south. As you can see, he's got a border that's fairly close to me there. So it's all going to play out down there here in the southeast corner. So I think for the next few turns, we're going to see what happens around here, and then we'll figure it out from there. But so far, so good. So we've arrived at turn 79, and we've got some interesting developments. First of all, the Kyoko asked for a truce for 10 turns. And the thing is, I obviously declined that, because they had the cheek to do that just after they took a colony from me, then want a truce. I mean, that's just too convenient, and I'm not having that, especially as I've just mentioned that they've split up their forces. Now, the Syndicate went off and took this sector, which I wasn't bothered about, and then just regrouped back in their own territory. And then they kind of did like a little sneak attack up here and took the sector Valentine Manor. But you can see that their army here is only 314 and 368. So we're talking like 700 power. This colony up here has got a militia power of 1300. So has Novaneth. You know, they're at full power. So I am really not bothered with the Syndicate right now. I think they're going to be an easy target for me. if they're only attacking with that size army. So what I'm going to do is I've already moved my troops into position. Actually, let me just do my skill queue very quickly. So let's not forget to do that. So I've done my, what was it I just did? I think it was the Colonist care. We get energy development. So what can we do? Can we do the insurrection program? Yeah, let's do the insurrection program, because once again that's specific to the Syndicate, and it allows me to do more covert stuff and create wars and all that kind of good stuff. So yeah, so I'm not going to bother about relay disruption because nobody's really used relays at this stage, but sabotage relation with the locals, that is great for me. I can get the factions to work on my side, and guerrilla strike, same thing, you know, so we will go and research that. Right, so as I have loads of cash, loads of energy, because my energy siphons came through, so once again we're going to, my energy siphon is already priming, so that's good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do an incineration strike on this army here. So we've got a 50% chance. Good. So that's excellent. So they've lost 20% of their vitality, and their resistances are down to thermal attack, which is great considering my units do thermal damage. And should we use a pulse beam cannon as well? Why not? Let's just make this an all-out attack. Yeah, and that was successful as well. Okay, so let's go in and just, I think we'll be able to auto-combat this one. I feel pretty confident about that. And if not, we will have to do a manual combat. Safe battle, yeah. So, as you can see, their units are not in the best of states by any means. So we're going to also combat that. There we go. I didn't lose a single unit, so that is perfect. And we're going to move all of that to our. Do I want these? No, they're of no use to me. I'd rather have the. There we go, and we're going to migrate that to Syndicate. There we go. It's going to take 7 turns, but you know what? Doesn't matter. We're going to get another Syndicate colony, as I am trying to keep everything Syndicate. So we're in a good position here. So we've got, we lost 1 unit. So we're just going to sit here for a turn and recoup. We are going to make sure that we start priming Incineration Strike again, because we're going to need it for our next turn. And the pulse beam cannon, yeah, it's more for the damage that I need it. But we're going to make Incineration Strike our primary one. And then we are going to go after these 2 armies down here, and then once that's done, then we can jump back through our teleport, which is down here at the bottom, and then we can go and deal with Taron, who's been a sneaky boy and is trying to do all kinds of naughty things. In fact, what I'm going to do is, can I deploy monitor? I'm going to need to prime that as well, unfortunately, but that's going to have to come after my Incineration Strike, so I can start taking a look at my Syndicate peer and see what I'm going to do. Right, so that's all looking quite good at the moment, and we will keep moving forwards. Turn 81, and on my military tree I have completed Cerebral Submission, which gives me some more heavy units. These are tier 7 units for the Syndicate, and then I'm now training up Illustrious Conquest. I've gone straight up to the end of the skill tree. I figure I'm going to try and get all the Syndicate units, the best ones that I can, so that if we do get a manual combat situation where it's kind of like a sort of 50-50 is whether they're going to win or not, I can use all the good stuff. So that's the plan with that. After all, this is all about the Syndicate. I am now in a position to attack Cancer Will. So I am going to do my Incineration Strike, and we are going to fire that. The odds are really working in my favor today. That is the one good thing. I keep getting attacked by spawners and stuff, but at least my my odds seem to work in my favour, so that's good. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the plasmoid defence as well, plasmoid deployment, because I'm one short of one unit. So there we go. We can get him added as well, and then we could even do. Yeah, I don't really want to turn it into a volcanic sector because I'm pretty certain I can win this. So, yeah, let's see. The state, yeah, 924 plus 300 militia. Yeah, we're going to go for this. I don't think we're going to have an issue here. So, we're going to move that one around the side, and then you're going to come in and stand there, and you are literally just going to come straight in through the front door, and we're going to. Do we want to negotiate that? No, we just want auto combat. We want to try and really break down these troops. And there we. Oh, did I lose a hero? Oh yeah. Oh, they lost their vehicle. Oh, that's fine. that's not a problem. I can buy a new vehicle. So yeah, we didn't lose one single unit. So right, we'll take that. There we go. That's ours again. So everything is going to plan. I need to obviously make this colony happy. Do you want the Tyrant Gauntlets? Tier 3. It's a melee weapon. I don't like my melee weapons. Yeah, off you go. There we go. Right, so let's see what our situation is. Okay, we've got as many as we can. And we're at -2. Right, so we just need to build them. The virtual entertainment plaza. And then we can do the research upgrades, and we'll do the improved military infrastructure, as I'm sure it will get attacked at some point. And this one is going to turn over in 5 turns. This one in 1 turn, so that's fine. And there's no units. There's 1 unit up here. So it may be worth sending an army up here and just trying to acquire this one. The militia power is quite high though. So you know what, I'm going to wait on that. I think I've got enough territories for now in that area. And I'm going to go back to my original plan, which is to deal with... I need to deploy a monitor. Can I do a deploy monitor? Yeah, it's still priming. So I will get that monitor out and I will get it in probably around here near Enazun. And we're just going to go a full-on attack onto our Syndicate peers, I think, onto Taron, because that was unnecessary. So I'm going to upgrade my commander. We're going to get piloting, I think. It's time to get everybody into some nice units. So we'll get a Mirage, I think, for now. We could get a Subjugator in a little while. But no, we'll go for the Mirage for now. I'm happy. Yeah, we can. No, we're going to cancel that because let's see. I get 13 damage, and at the moment I've got those weapons. So I've spent the skill points. I might as well. If I'll go for the hover bike. I'll go for the hover bike, and then we'll put a focus flames on that, and then we're doing thermal damage, which goes in nicely with our Promethean. So we're going to confirm that loadout. Yeah. And I'm going to upgrade this hero as well. We're going to give piloting to you. We're going to confirm that. Although you got the crystal shotgun, which is an awesome weapon. Yeah, we're going to go down the same route. I think we're going to go focus flames. Can I go focus flames? No. Alright, okay, so we're going to stick with that. That's fine. The main thing is that we've got loads and loads. It's boosting up our unit strength no end. And we've got another hero we can upgrade who's already got a weapon thing. So do we want Air Commander? No, I'm not too bothered about those. Yeah, we're going to use Anthem of the Abyss, because if we need to use that, that's going to come in really handy as a Synumbra skill. All right, all my heroes are upgrading. There we go. Vitality 3, that goes without saying. All right, that's all done. So kind of babbling a little bit while I was doing that, but what I've essentially done is I've just strengthened up all my armies. So they're now nice and strong. And I'm in a position, I think, soon to I'm going to start building some more units up in my main colony. So I've got Xenodar up here, so I've got an indentured purifier coming through, and then 2 really high-end units as well. So they're going to come through in 7 turns. That gives me time to sort of coalesce all my armies, probably into Novaneth, and then we will take back this, what's going on here. Oh, look at this. So, yeah. So basically we've got some armies building up here, probably to try and take Destineth or Novaneth. So I'm going to bring all my troops back, and we're going to take it from there. I think we're going to be going into a part 4 on this one. I don't think we're going to be able to do this in three parts. So I will move the units back, and then we'll probably wrap that up for part 3, and then we'll go all out for part 4, where it's going to be all out war, I'd imagine. Okay, so I've just started turn 83, and much to my surprise, Terron from the Syndicate didn't go and attack Destineth. I think because I jumped all my units back through the teleport and brought them back into my home territory, Terron seemed to think the better move was to take this teleport right here, which takes him up to this area here, which is in sort of the northwest corner of my map, because it's pretty much undefended. The thing is, though, is that my colonies are all at their kind of max colony militia strength. So this one's at 1310, Jalar is also at 1310, and these units are not actually very powerful. You can see 666, 753 and 167. So I'm going to leave Terron to run around up here, and I'm not too bothered about it because my colonies are pretty well defended. And in fact, what I can even do is I can put a plasma ray defense, there we go, on a friendly colony, which basically causes fire damage to them if they attack me. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to prime it again so that we've got it for the other colonies available. Although I really want my incineration strike, so I'm going to resume that so I can use that on them as well if they decide to attack. And in the meantime, Novaneth has got an unexploited sector, so okay, I'll do that. In the meantime, what I am going to do is I'm going to take my armies and I'm going to head south. And I've stolen the maps now, so I can see exactly what I'm dealing with here. And you could see that the colony militia power is only like 640, so they're not very well defended, and I don't think that Terron has got anywhere near the armies that he needs to be able to take me on. So in fact, I just pressed pressed the wrong button there. I pressed the next turn. So we're going to move forward a turn. That's fine. It's not the end of the world for me. So we're just going to wait for that to take place. In the meantime, what I was going to do is I was going to deploy a monitor down here so I could start taking a look at like sort of Caspeth and so forth. But let's have a look. So what is he doing? Oh, there we go. So yeah, so he's going to try and take my colony in Vostovarov, which seems like a very, very strange thing to do, considering, I'm pretty much of equal, if not greater strength. And because I've taken this extra turn, I will now be able to do the incineration strike as well. And that should do some pretty bad damage to one of these units, which really are not as powerful as they should be. So let's have a look. Yep, I'm ready to go now. Yep, operation ready, incineration strike. So we're going to select that army. There we go. And their resistances are reduced as well. What I wanted to actually do was to deploy my monitor. I'm going to launch that now. And I really want to get it kind of down here. Problem is I'm going to need to deploy a fair few. I really want to see what these armies are here actually, because they look like they're in his territory. So I'll pop this right next to there. Still not quite enough, so I'm going to have to deploy another monitor, or I'm going to have to send a unit down there to go and take a look. So we're going to prime that, although I really want my plasma ray defense to be my primary there. So what we're going to do is, in the meantime, in one unit turn, I'm going to have another heavy unit, so I'm going to bring those down to Destineth. I'm going to move these up to Novaneth for now. In fact, I can retake that colony, and move these into Nobineth. There we go. Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to wrap up there because, as you can see from the map, it looks like we're fairly evenly matched in terms of territories. But the reality is that within a few turns, I'm going to have those colonies, those old Amazon colonies are going to be mine. So I'm going to expand a fair bit there. And my army power is generally greater than Taron's. So hopefully I'm going to be able to head south and just take over all of his sectors. So that I could have probably won more easily with the Doomsday Weapon, especially as I've kind of got this corner up the top here, where that allows me, with all this shoreline, that allows me to protect my colonies very, very well. But the thing is, I did that with the Kyoko, so obviously I want to try and gain victory through a different way. So I am still going to go through the number of sectors. So it says at the moment I've occupied 28 out of 63. That's going to jump dramatically over the next few turns. And if I take over all of Taron's space, then I should be very close to that 63. The funny thing is that it says I'm 5 out of 5 on everything. So I'm at the bottom of the rankings at the moment. But you know what? I'm always at the bottom of the rankings, so that's fine. And I'm sure I'll be able to pull it back. But we're going to have to find out in part 4. So I hope you enjoy what I do. And hopefully in part 4 we'll be able to resolve this and make it a victory. So if you enjoy what I do, please subscribe. Please hit the bell icon if you want to be notified of new releases. And if you like this, please give me a like. And if you didn't, dislike, it's all good. All right, see you soon. Bye.